Good evening, I'm Margaret Thatcher, and welcome to Shoe News. Shoo, 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 shoo. Yes, hello everybody, and welcome to ShuweeklyDink, YouTube's favorite show. Not a whole lot of news this week. Probably will be more with E3 happening pretty soon here for the next episode. But there was just a couple things I wanted to cover, and you know, I have fun doing this show, so I'm gonna do it. And the first thing I want to talk about is the E3 leak. So apparently Sony's games have been leaked at E3, so I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about this list, my opinion, what's on it, and that kind of thing. So the list itself to me does not look very official. I mean, it just looks like somebody put this thing on like a Microsoft Word and printed it with a couple little images here and there. Some interesting games though. One that I'm particularly excited about, I will definitely do a series because I love the first one, was The Last of Us Part 2. I really hope they show this game off. Really excited for it. Ever since they kind of, announced it, I was like, oh my god, give me this game, because the story was just so good for the first one. It's the first non-fighting game in such a long time that I actually enjoyed. And it's funny because I only played it because it came free with the PlayStation that I bought. So I was like, I might as well just try this out until Mortal Kombat drops, and I just fell in love with it. So super excited for that. Devil May Cry is another game that a lot of people have talked about that say that it's very, very good. So I'm actually probably going to try that out. I have no idea what the series actually is, but I'm seeing it all over Twitter and stuff that people are stoked on it. So couple games that I don't really, I think Shenmue, is that the one I'm thinking of? There was one that I believe it was From Software. They posted kind of a hint video or something like that. It was only a couple seconds long of this weird gear thing. And a lot of people were screaming, oh, it's Bloodborne 2, it's Bloodborne 2, but I don't really think that's the case. I think it might be a remaster. I have a friend who's super into horror games, and she's thinking that it's a remake of an old horror game that they did for PlayStation 1. I can't remember the name of it. I'll find that out soon. So I don't think, because they were pretty adamant that Bloodborne 2 wasn't going to be a thing they were going to make, but it was really successful and one of the better games they've ever made. So, money talks, right? So Resident Evil 2 remake, if this is real, this is something I would really get on board with. Resident Evil 2 was the first Resident Evil game that I played back when I was too young to really even be playing it. So it has a lot of memories for me. I really hope they make a remake. And yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 I have no real, emotional involvement with. Past that, that's pretty much it. And then there's the Final Fantasy VII remake launch trailer, which is interesting. That's obviously widely considered the best Final Fantasy game of all time. I have not obviously, but I've never played a Final Fantasy game. Oh my god, blasphemy. Dink sucks. He's a terrible human being. So, what a better time to start than now. But talking about Final Fantasy, that leads me into my next point. So this is a little bit of old news, so bear with me here if you've already heard this and you're like, Dink, what are you just talking about now? Because I just found out about it, okay? Apparently there have been some rumors that Sephiroth, Cloud, and Tifa from Final Fantasy VII are going to be guest characters in Soul Calibur 6, which is set to drop sometime this year. Very interesting. A couple things I want to discuss regarding that topic. So we did already see The Witcher being announced as a guest character, and I was really confused as to why they announced a guest character so early. So this would make sense that they're having multiple guest characters, so there's more to announce down the road. Because he was announced before some of the main cast was even announced, so I thought that was kind of weird. But yeah, I guess I can see now why they would do it that way, if they have this many characters to announce. Also, it does make sense for them to be in the game to kind of co-promote the Final Fantasy coming down the road. I think 3 of them is a little bit much, especially all from the same game. Kind of weird to me, but I mean, it's totally possible. And of course, having not played any of the Final Fantasy games, what do you think their playstyle would be like? Explain to me how you think they would fight. I've seen Cloud in Smash Brothers, which is interesting that they would put him in Smash Brothers and in Soul Calibur 6, so he's in 2 different fighting games. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That seems a little weird. Anyway, pass the question on to you. What do you think about that little leak? Do you think it's true? Do you think it's false? Post in the comments below. Let's talk about it. Then, of course, some people were saying that Mortal Kombat 11 was cancelled. and that it's actually going to be Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks 2. A couple reasons I don't think this is the case. First off, NRS has been deep into esports the last few years, So for them to make a standalone game like Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks 2, you know, that's not competitive and doesn't really go into that, I don't really see the draw why they would do that from a financial standpoint. I do think, however, they might take a swing at doing a story mode in a Shaolin Monks style, hopefully kind of more along the lines of Deception, where you had like this kind of free open world, but maybe like a Shaolin Monks type system, or something. You know, the thing I liked about the Deception story mode was that, you know, you had like this open world and stuff, and then you actually went into like one-on-one fights when you needed to. I thought that was really cool. Shaolin Monks was fun. Didn't really care for the gameplay as much as the Deception story mode. If we're talking about story mode aspect, it was a great standalone game. Really enjoyed it. But yeah, I would prefer to have just a regular competitive Mortal Kombat game with maybe a little bit more of an enticing story mode as opposed to just, you know, cinematics here and there. And I think as far as guest characters go for Mortal Kombat, we can probably expect, my guess would be Michael Myers, because I believe they have a new Halloween coming out this fall. And I'm going to say that Spawn will finally make his way into a game, because he's hinted at that so many times and so many polls and stuff, and said, oh, Spawn here, you know, should Spawn be in Injustice 2 DLC? And he obviously fits way better into an MK game. So I think, you know, come the next Mortal Kombat game, whatever they decide to call it, I think he will finally be a guest character in the game. And that's it this week, guys, for ShuweeklyDink. Next week is going to be probably a pretty big show with E3 coming up, so yeah, what are you most excited about for E3? Is there a game you're hoping for? You know, whatever console, Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation? Let me know. Let's talk about it. I've already told you mine. I don't play Nintendo, so I don't have a Nintendo one for you guys that are asking. But that's it for the news today. As always, I'm Margaret Thatcher, and thank you for watching.